Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to have a little look at one of the fun but sometimes challenging part of photography, and that's the editing process. Now, do you go colour or do you go black and white? Let's have a little look and we can decide as we go through. I'm going to take you step by step through my Lightroom editing process, showing you how I enhance the colour for that vibrant look, yet it's still a little ethereal with the lighting, and then I'm going to transform the image into some timeless black and white photos. So let's get started. Okay, so I've already imported all the images into Lightroom, obviously. So you can see in Lightroom, I'm in the develop module and I'm in the editing panel, and you can see what features have been turned on or off by the little eyeballs here. So this is the original image imported into camera. What I loved about it was that it had this beautiful soft ethereal glow behind her. That was the lighting. It was such an overcast day. It was actually raining while we were doing most of the shoot, and you can see the water drops down Nicola's arms here from when she was picking the cherries, because it had just stopped raining and the sun had just peeked out. So it was just a fabulous shoot. So what did I do to start with? So I obviously did some basic edits. I also did a bit of a tidy up with the remove tool. So if I go into the remove tool to start with, and I'll be able to show you what I did. So pressing H hides the edits, and pressing H again brings it back. There is a bit of a dirty sensor spot, so I'm going to get rid of that while I'm here. There was also some lines, so if I show you the before and after, there was some lines in, so there was mesh over the top, or bird mesh or whatever, over the top of the cherry trees. So I did run the remove tool to get rid of those, and of course that sensor spot that I just got rid of. So the next step was going into the basic panel, so that's without the edits. So if I open that up, I did adjust the exposure a little bit. I also brought up the highlights and the shadows. I brought up the vibrance, but I dropped the saturation a little bit. So that's how I brought some real sort of oomph to the image. I find if you bring the saturation up as opposed to the vibrance, the colors look really fake. So if I brought the vibrance back down and brought the greens up, it doesn't look quite as good. It also affects her skin tones and her hair, and it's not very nice at all. So I'm going to put that back to where it was. Okay, so that just gives some vibrancy through to the greens, and I can play with that a little bit later if I want to as well, but it's not affecting her skin tone or her hair. The next one was I went into the tone curve, and if I go into the parametric curve, you can see where there's just a subtle, so I brought the lights up a little bit and the darks down a little bit, but everything else I left there. I did not really make any changes to the red, green or the blue channel. It was just the parametric channel that I played with. Next, going over to the color mixer, and I didn't play with the luminance at all, but I did come in and play with the saturation. Like I said, I didn't change the saturation in the basic panel, but I came down here and I did increase the greens and the yellows a little bit, and then I brought the oranges down just so that that balanced it out. So that's before and that's after. So it's only subtle, but you don't want really strong changes. You just want to keep it really subtle. So I didn't do anything in the color grading, so there's nothing turned on there. I went into the details and I did do just a little bit of luminance and some detail as well as color details in there. Everything else is pretty much standard. I also did some lens corrections, so I was shooting with my Tamron 70 to 180 f.28, and I did enable the profile correction and also the remove chromatic aberrations, because I was shooting into quite a high contrast into the light, so there was some chromatic aberrations that I just wanted to ease off. And apart from that, that was pretty much all I did to this image. Click, and I'm going to do a virtual copy. And then I'm going to do a black and white edit. Now there's a couple of different things that I could do. I could go into the style sections in Lightroom and I can play with some of the black and white edits there, and there's a really nice black and white one, there's a beautiful sepia, there's quite a few that you can play with in there that are really quite nice. So I'm actually going to, this is a preset that I've created myself, one that I've called Sky, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to tweak this. And that's the beauty of using presets, you can go and tweak it. I can also adjust, so if I want to use more of it or if I want to use less of it, maybe even I might use a little less of that, and it's almost got like a sepia look to it. So let's go through. I want to increase the highlights a little more and maybe even bring those shadows out. I of course want to go in and do a cleanup with the remove tool and get rid of some of those marks that are in the background. And of course I want to get rid of that dirty sensor spot. I'm not going to play around with clarity and texture because that's going to change the look of her skin. If anything, I'm going to maybe drop that down just a touch further, but I don't want to take it too far. The tone curve, again, it's just a little bit of that basic curve. It's so very subtle. So I brought the highlights down, the lights down, the darks down, but increased the shadows. The color grading. Now I could come back and play in here a little more. So perhaps I wanted to go for more of a blue tinge to my images, and look at the change that they made there. So that's before and that's after, and that's moving into sort of more of a selenium sort of type look, which is just absolutely gorgeous for this image. I could play around with the luminance a little bit. Again, I've got my chromatic aberrations and profile corrections turned on, and I have also put a little bit of a dark vignette, so you can see hopefully before and after. So here's the final results between the warm color version and the timeless black and white edit. And I love them both for different reasons, and honestly I'm finding it really hard to choose a favorite. What do you think? Which one speaks to you more? So thanks for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own editing processes. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more photography tips and tutorials. Let me know in your comments which version you prefer, whether you like the color or the black and white, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.